I mean, he's been doing this for a long time. He impacts the game so dramatically. And then on offense, he gets us organized. He's kind of our point forward in a lot of ways, and he's the leader of our team. So, the first few games, obviously, we desperately missed him, and it just feels to me like now that both Draymond and James Wiseman have had a couple weeks work here. This feels like the beginning of the regular season to me. We weren't ready the first couple weeks, and it showed, but we knew that coming in based on just our situation in camp. So really happy with the way the guys handled this last week. We've gotten better. We're starting to feel what kind of team we can become, and they had a good night tonight. So it's they get tomorrow off. They've earned it.
Steve, CJ Peterson, San Francisco Examiner. Tonight you guys had 41 assists, season high so far. What did you think of the ball movement out there, and just how you guys were able to kind of facilitate tonight?
Yeah, it was really good. Just driving, kicking, and it just seemed like everybody was in sync and understood that you just move the ball on. You put it on the floor, get it in the paint, and move it on to the next guy, and the game becomes much easier. So that was nice to see.
The wraps that we see on Steph's back and the wrap around his right quad, are those just maintenance things?
Yeah.
I have to ask.
Yeah, he's fine. It's just maintenance stuff.
Okay.
How good was it to see Oubre hit 4 threes?
Yeah, it was just a matter of time. I mean, he's a good 3-point shooter. I think he was 35% last year in Phoenix, and he shot it well in the preseason. And just one of those things. I think I said this to you guys last week. This kind of start, Klay Thompson has had a similar start at least 2 times, maybe even 3 times since I've been here. Sometimes at the beginning of the season, you just don't have your legs under you. You have a couple bad games, it can snowball, and then all of a sudden you make one and you realize there's 67 games left or whatever it is, and you just relax. And I think that's where Kelly is now.
Steve, Carmen returning to the San Francisco Chronicle. Is it fair to say that it's not really a coincidence that Steph starts to go off when Draymond gets his win back and is being the Draymond of old? What is so special about the dynamic between those two?
Well, they know each other so well, so their pick and roll game is beautiful to watch, and hit and handbacks, and Draymond understands how to get Steph open. And then I think our defense gets a lot better when Draymond is on the floor, so Steph gets more transition opportunities as well.
Hey, Coach, Kylan with Cron 4. Steph almost with a triple-double tonight. What do you think of his effort, especially coming off of a 62-point game to then go out with that kind of energy?
Yeah, Steph looked great. I mean, the first quarter was the key to the game, 37-20, and our defense was really key. And, again, if we can get stops and get into transition, Steph is lethal in those cases. So he got free a little bit in that first quarter and set a really good tone, as did our whole team with the defense. And that's going to be the key, going forward. We these last 2 games have been really good defensive efforts, and that's what this team has to be built on in order to compete at the highest level. So we're trending in the right direction, but it's about to get a lot tougher competition-wise.
You talked about not really having a rotation early in the season. I know we're not 20 games into it yet, but do you feel like you're forming one? I mean, obviously Bazemore is getting more minutes. Lee is a nightly guy now. Just where are you at rotation-wise?
Yeah, I mean, I think Baze has played so well. He's really solidified himself. And then, ironically, Marquise's injury really clarified Eric's role. And I think that was one of the big question marks in camp was, when Draymond was back, where were we going to play Eric? And he's really seized that role, that backup center along with Loon. kind of playing those three guys, playing James, Loon, and Eric, and it's a really good look. Eric is so good offensively and so good at attacking, and doing so as a five-man really suits him well. So I would say, these last few games, the rotation has settled in pretty well. But we'll see how it goes the next couple of weeks.
You mentioned the increased competition. You guys played some really good teams to start the season. Clearly weren't ready for that. How much more ready do you feel for really, it's like a 7-game gauntlet ahead?
Well, yeah. I mean, like I said, I feel like conditioning wise and practice wise, this is what the beginning of the regular season normally feels like. And it makes sense, right? Because it's about a 4-week period under normal circumstances from your first practice to your first game. And it's probably been about 4 weeks since we started camp. So we weren't ready. We needed a couple of extra weeks, particularly with James and Draymond. And now we've got our legs underneath us, and I think we're much better prepared to play the best teams in the league. So we'll see if that's true.
When you see James with the alley-oop, put down that alley-oop, and earlier in the game he put, he just lays up a high percentage shot when he might have been able to dunk. I mean, are the decisions he's making, in the flow of the game, pretty impressive to you, and the high percentage shots that he's taking? Yeah.
I mean, James is so talented that if he gets near the rim, he's going to be able to finish and catch lobs and finish in transition, all those things. The game is moving really fast for him, and as it should be, given that this is his first year. But it's he's showing signs each game that he's learning different things, and it's going to be a long process for him. But as I've told you guys, he's very poised for a player his age and a person his age, and he's really well suited to this learning process.
Hi, Steve. Carlos Ramirez, NBC Bay Area. We've talked a lot about James's growth and things he has to learn. What has he taught you as a coach on these 7 games?
What has James taught me?
Yeah, as a coach. I mean, what things have you had to learn to try to, kind of groom him?
Yeah.
Or what have you gotten from him?
Well, what I've learned from him, number one, is that he's really a fantastic young man and great to coach. And what I've learned from him is that with someone so young and inexperienced, I've got to be very detailed with my instruction, and it makes perfect sense. This is somebody who is not only really young, but played 3 college games, and as I've said, no summer league, no camp. So I just have to take it slowly with him. Theo Robertson's doing a fantastic job with him every day, watching film and working with him, trying to teach him the tricks of the trade, and so it's a fun process to be part of.
Hello, coach. Congratulations on the win. I would like to ask you, you shot tonight with 53.5 in 3-point shots. What it means about the intensity and your confidence as a team, and also from these two games against Blazers and tonight, what would you like to keep about the rest of the season?
Well, the shots went down tonight. Sometimes they go in, sometimes they don't. But we made a lot of good passes, good ball movement, and got some good open looks. So that was a great sign. As far as the last 2 games, the defense is the main thing that I'd like to see carry over. 2 good defensive efforts in a row. And as I said, that's got to be our identity as a team this year. So we'll keep pushing in that regard.
Steve, how has it been playing these games without Eric Hausen? And when does he get to come home?
He's coming home tomorrow. It's very strange without him here. And we got him on Zoom last night during our pregame talk. So he gave the motivational speech before last night's game from his hotel room in Detroit. So poor guy's been on the road for almost 3 weeks. He misses his wife and daughter, and and he desperately misses, being at these games. He told me he's missed one game since he started working for the Warriors, and he just had to miss these last 3. So it'll be good to get E back.
Is that something you guys saw when you were scouting him? Have you reached out to Jay Wright even at all? When you were considering that move?
I didn't scout him, when he came out of the draft. I wasn't really part of the draft process that year. I know Jay very well. We coached together in China last summer, and I love Jay, and we text periodically and talk about Eric. And so he's a big fan of Eric's. We didn't really talk about him playing the center spot. I mean, this sort of popped up, this past week with Marquise's injury. But Jay and I stay in touch. He's a great coach and a great fan of Eric's.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned some fun was had last night when handing out the game ball. Who got the game ball tonight, and did you leave Wiseman alone this time?
No game ball tonight. Game balls only happen when on special occasions. So we'll see when the next one happens. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot. Have a good night.